when they have these dumb fucking videos to trend for money that are not true. These things. So they had when he fought Frank Bruno. And Frank Bruno was just a large bodybuilder type boxer. He was kind of a nice fellow from England. When he fought this beast, it's like, no, he fought a guy that was like bodybuilder size. And, but Mike was he had better hand speed and could duck under Frank Bruno's punches a little bit better, and he knocked him out, you know. Like, Mike Weaver did to John Tate. Now, Mike Weaver was like a bodybuilder thing, like Frank Bruno, but he just took John Tate's punches and he just covered up because he was all muscle. And then by the eighth round, John Tate had punched himself out, and Mike Weaver just loaded up and wham! And John Tate, it was horrible to watch. He devastated him so much he fell forward. Pow! All 240 pounds like a bag of wheat. It was very distressing and very hard to watch. It was a very disturbing fight. Mike Weaver, Dante. And I can't remember, there was a Mike, one of the girls that booked a flight for a fight, her name was Michael Weaver. And she got proposition sexually explicit phone calls from black women all the time on her answering machine. I'm like, he's Michael Weaver. And she goes, yeah, he's a boxer. I know. And she goes, yeah, I know. I live in California, and I get sexually explicit phone calls from black women all the time offering me these very detailed sexual experiences that are going to happen to me. Right? I'm like, well, did you ever take him up on it? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just laughing. No, she was Michael. Yeah, Michael Weaver. Okay. And her husband's name was Michael. Yeah, she was the best. Okay. And I sat there. We were having a good conversation. She thought I was a black guy. It was just, yeah, this guy's very astute and very intelligent. No, black people are very astute and intelligent. Yeah. Ralph Ellison, James Baldwin, Langston Hughes. Fuck. I mean, yeah. No, there's Oodalali, W.E.D. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington. Oodalali, golly, what a day, right? But just because I'm black, I got to talk like, we be toys and shit. Who that? You know, and I'm like, you know, I used to get that all the time on the phone, you know. And, well, one time it was one of the other ones I had, you know, but the joke I did with him and his wife, she says, are you a narcissist? Do you really love me, or are you just being a narcissist? And she said, I'm going to try that on him tonight. That was like funny. I was like, all right, glad to help out. But I talked to a dude from Arkansas, and I used to get, you know, right same night, I got the dude, you know, I want to go to Hawaii. No, sorry, sir, we only service the continental United States. You fucking idiot. Where's Hawaii? It's an island chain in the South Pacific, sir. Okay, well, then I want to fly to Hawaii. You said you fly in the United States. I said, no, we only service the continental United States, the continent of the United States. He said, okay, you fucking idiot. Where's Hawaii? I said, Hawaii is a... I must have pissed him off because you're thinking I'm black, but I'm a hillbilly. But Ralph Earl Parsons Jr., NASCAR is at the family reunion. And so, but I'm sitting there going, Hawaii is an island chain in the South Pacific, sir. But Southwest Airline only services the continental United States, the continent, the 48 states. Right? He does it again. And I'm like, fuck. So then I start breaking down plate tectonics to him and global drifts and all that shit. You know, are you familiar with the theory of plate tectonics and global drifts? Well, you have this seismic activity that forms volcanic islands that are called Hawaii, that are on the other side of the planet almost. Sometimes I start getting real kind of, I got pissed. He said, you fucking idiot to me one too many fucking times. And it was a time of night when they funneled in all these calls from like Arkansas and all these hillbilly places where my family reunions are at, right? And I sound like a black man. And so some of them get kind of shitty to me. Well, one guy called up and I was already agitated. And he could tell, and he was real nice. And then he kind of pointed out, he goes, you know, a lot of people talk like me can be real idiots, you know. And we sat and talked because there's nothing else going on. There's no quality assurance. We had a half an hour talk about Zen Buddhism. Yeah, with this guy who talks like Andy Griffith show and shit. It was great. I was like, thank you for taking a lot of my stereotypes and busting them like plates at a Greek wedding. That was wonderful. Thank you. You made my day. You made my day. That's a purpley. That's a very pretty dress. It's purpley. Francisco. That's fun to say, right? So, I had a good time, right? But it was funny. But yeah, no. Typically, most of the time, because I was a large black man with a deep voice at Southwest Airlines, I got like I can name the calls. Mrs. Jackson, Ara, are you listening? Okay. I'm sorry if there was a man with a voice like me that had sex with you and kicked you to the curb back in college at a HBCU. But woman, you gotta quit treating me like this. God damn, I didn't fuck you in college. It was another brother that sounded like me. I see why he kicked you to the curb. You're obnoxious. I didn't say it, but I was thinking it the whole fucking time, right? Mr. Jackson got on my fucking nerves. She's pissing me off. I was so tempted to. Could you put Mr. Jackson on the phone? I don't advocate domestic violence, but take her by her Sunday wearing, dress wearing, with her fake ass pearl necklace by the neck and slap her about the head and neck area until she gets more polite, sir. That bitch be rubbing me the wrong way. I wanted to. I didn't do it. But it's like Chris Rock. You want to, but you can't. You want to, but you can't. Right? And everybody, to commit the sin in the mind is a sin committed in the flesh. So you should understand, right? Empathy and respect. Patience. Like I was telling Dad about with Suzuki. He says, you go sleep. You get all night and dream fucking watching TV through metaverse. Fucking money real. We need more fucking money out of you. Money real. You, John Tate, me, Mike Weaver. What black woman gonna do for me with sex on my answering machine, even though I'm white woman named Mike Weaver? It's funny though. But he wakes up, he goes, be patient, okay? You should always be patient with people that are abused and having trouble recovering from their abuse, but you should never be patient with an abuser. Okay? I said stop fucking my people with technology now. And if your technology cannot help me stop you, it's inadequate and just as inadequate as you are. Your technology sucks, and so do you. Caltech that. David Underhill this. Nobel Prize me this and that. You can get with this, or you can get with that, or you can get with this, or you can get with that, but they both suck, just like you. It's very that, right? And then there was the Chinese lady. Oh gosh, she drove me nuts. She, the guy was like Brandon Lee. His real name is Lee, okay? He's not Little Sammy Chong and Little Billy. There was Little Billy and Little Sammy Chong. Those are Hollywood names, okay? Or Bruce Lee, because he's from here, so they named him that way, because surname Lee, first name Bruce. But in China, it would be Lee Bruce, okay? Like in... where Joel Embiid and Siakam Pascal are from, it would be Embiid Joel, would be the way you say his name. They're from Cameroon, right? In Cameroon, it's family name first, then your name. So, family of Siakam, I am Pascal, the family of Siakam. Fa Mulan, Fa Zhu, right? Okay, the name is Fa, he's Zhu, she's Mulan, right? Family name Fa. So I'd be Parsons Earl Jr., right? And so, but it's one of those things, one of those days. But yeah, that lady socially sit there, and I said, well, what I'll do is I'll just do this. She goes, no, you do it my way. And I was like, we can't do it that way. This is the only way we can do it. She says, no, you're not listening to me. And I'm like, you called me for help so the man can get on the airplane, right? Right. Okay. And I'm telling you how it can be done, and she keeps telling me, you're not listening to me. I want it done this way. And I kept telling her, I cannot, but here's how I can do it, and he can get on the plane. She goes, you're not listening. This is how I want it done. And I'm like, God damn, you think you're Kaylin Gilliard or Mrs. Jackson? Shit. Okay, where the fuck is Hawaii? But you're like sitting there going, she was driving me insane. And then she got mad at me and said, this wouldn't have taken so long if you'd just done it my way. And I was like, fuck, because she sat there and the way I said to do it, we could do. But she said, no, we can't do it this way. So I had to say, no, we couldn't. And then we had to go get it fixed because she wanted it done her way, which was it wasn't feasible. Right. All I said was his name on his passport is this, but the name on the ID for, like his driver's license is Brandon Lee. But the name on his legal documentation from the country of Oregon, which is Korea, is Hongjong Song Lee Hongjong Song, right? And so that's all we had to do. But she didn't know. And oh God, it was a total pain in the ass. You don't call somebody asking for help, telling them how you need the help when it's not feasible to do it the way that you want it done, right? You know, like all you guys that pray to Jesus for world peace, but tell me when it's not time to live the Lord's Prayer yet till you kill everybody you don't like. Okay, well, you love thy enemy, love thy neighbors, yourself, forgive debt, trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. Okay, why are you telling God what to do when God obviously knows better than you do? Listen to God. Okay? Just listen to God. God said, me and Jesus are being obnoxious. We have, what is it called? We have a creative license or artistic license. Creative license. Yeah, you can't have creative license. You can't have a creative license. We have an artistic, I don't know. We're the source of the truth of faith and the glory of creation and faithful love. So we like that. We got it like that. We got it going on. We got it going on. Me and Jesus got it going on. You know what I'm saying? Other people, you're Jerry Falwell. You're Oral Roberts. You're Bobby Schuller. You're Michael Youssef. You're Creflo Dollar. You're Joyce Meyer. You're Billy Graham. You're Otto Graham? No, I kind of like Otto Graham. He played without the face mask. New York Giants quarterback. Or did he play for the Cleveland? Otto Graham? I used to read those books when I was a kid. Yeah, Bill Russell, Oscar Robinson, Elgin Baylor, Bob Pettit. What was the guy who was the Minneapolis Lakers? What was his? George Mikan. Yeah. Earl Lloyd. He was my favorite because his name was Earl. Yeah. And he was very pragmatic in the things. He said, he was the first black player. I think him and one or two other guys, they played on the Syracuse Nationals. And he said, it was in the book. I read it in the 70s, but he played back in the 50s. He said, I just wanted to play through a game. He goes, they used to the Mexican in Wyoming. I went through the same thing he did, without being scratched like I'm playing against my sisters, without them grabbing onto my uniform and holding me down and stepping on my feet and hitting me in the face with their elbows because they couldn't get the rebound from me and almost sending my teeth through the bottom part of my hair and laughing about it with the referees. Yeah. The good rancher kids of Wyoming, the Dick Cheney folks, were over there with their coach, who, when mom and dad sent me back to Wyoming to live with Val, they didn't even think about it. That guy was the coach. He was now the head coach. The one that had his good rancher boys beat the hell out of me and laugh about it, and the rest would laugh about it during the game. And I'm sitting there with hunks of meat from my flesh on my teeth. I kicked their ass in that fourth quarter. I obliterated them. Just about Charlie said, you counted. He goes, Charlie's mom would say that. We need somebody to punch Earl in the mouth before every game. He just doesn't have that killer instinct. He's too nice. It's true. I don't like embarrassing people. And I don't like them making feel bad. As much as I didn't want to be injured, because it was like, oh shit, he's gonna undercut me, he's gonna judo flip me, he's gonna, God damn, it's horrible, Make the ref make the call, or just sweep the leg. Oh yeah, he wants to get the head coaching job at Natrona County High School. Pays more money than any other whole head coaching job in the state of Wyoming. And then if you're really good, maybe you could get the job at Notre Dame from Akron High School. Maybe so. Then get fired and end up coaching the Akron Zips. Yep, it happens. Gary Faust. Okay. Money. When you eliminate, the process of manipulation, Camilla and Melania are going to get along better. Well, because everybody wants to have sex with the lead singer from the 3 Degrees. Okay? Who wants to have sex with Camilla? Only after you got dumped by the lead singer from the 3 Degrees, because she's having sex with Bobby Day. He rocks in the treetops all day because he's a better singer and he's better looking. You don't have as much money. Yeah, but it's just not as fun having sex in the palace with pretty city girls just seem to find out early how to open doors with just a smile. Rich old man, she won't have to worry. Dress up all in lace and go in style. My, oh my. And Melania reminds me a lot of Jennifer Lopez. But you sure know how to arrange things. It's like, just stand up for the Lord's Prayer. I can't. What prevents you? There is no spoon. How do you analyze yourself out of a wet paper bag? You're not in the wet paper bag. What? Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. If you can't stand up for a Messiah today, what makes you think you would have stood up for the Messiah year one in the Roman Empire? City girls just seem to find out early. Y'all are all judgmental and real shitty about what happened with Dan Henley to try to maintain a sex life. In a world where, do you know if she really loves you? Or is she just having sex with you because you're a rich rock star? And then when you're out, she'll cheat with the football player who's hotter and got a bigger dick, but doesn't make as much money because he just got cut by the Calgary Stampeders. Oh, it's horrible. But if we're all living the Lord's Prayer, Tom Jeffords and his wife, Sincere, don't have to worry about the grandpa from the Waltons and his son killing Sincere by the river. I swear I left her. Think about my life thus far, how it's done me wrong. Gonna leave this old Nebraska town. But where's my Penny in a blue dress? She's tipping cows. Oh, Lord, stuck in the Omaha again. We can't have a successful football team. Why? Because it will diminish the capacity for the Nebraska football team to be dominant if they have competition in their own state for the players in their state. But they have like 7 in Florida. Yeah, but there's a lot of really, really talented fast Negroes. But it's not the fast Negroes that make you good. It's the big guys. It's Steve Edman. It's Philip Warwick. Wide receivers, cornerbacks, and running backs come a dime a dozen. Try to find the guys who knock everybody on their butt when these bees are running. When I go recruiting on NCAA football, first thing I go look for is blocking tight ends and blocking fullback. And then offensive linemen, running offensive linemen. Because I like to run. I get a running quarterback. I break containment. I can either run or pass it in short 15 to 20-yard bursts because I line a fast receiver on the other side that the AI can't account for in coverage because he's covered by a linebacker. And it's a real short one if I go to the tight end because he's the blocking tight end, which means his speed's usually like in the 70s. And he just has good separation because he's big and he's strong. Or he drops more passes than the receiver. The receiver gets past the linebacker and is 10 yards ahead of him. I just got to lob the pass over him like, Earl lobs to Steve and Horton and Danny Bennett. Danny was one of the, like that 5'4" guy on the dunk show. Okay. Danny was 5'6" and could dunk. You would be standing in the lane, turn around, and you see the bottom of that man's Nikes. Shit. Well, he was 5'6". He had to jump his ass off to get up to the rim. Yeah. Okay. He's 5'6". The rim is 10 feet high, guys. Okay. To get his hand and arm over the rim, he's got to jump real high to get up to dunk it. So when you'd go through things, you'd turn around and, God dang, there's the bottom of Johnny's shoes. That man's flying. You don't think about it yourself. I was telling Dad the other day, I was like, I'm 245 and chemically poisoned by the most jealous perverts in the history of the world. But, I was like, I used to have bruised forearms near my elbow, practicing my dunk shot at the park, right? And I'm like, damn, Earl, that's jumping. That's getting up in the air. It's like, yeah, it is. Because I was 5'11", When a guy's almost 7 feet tall, he's jumping about, you got to jump 3 feet high if you're almost 7 feet tall to be at the rim. That's spectacular. You jump 3 feet in the air. It's 3 feet in the air. Okay. Spud Webb, that's why people are more impressed when a little guy like me jumps up and posterizes a game. That's why I didn't do it. No, they will hurt you. They'll send you to the hospital. They'll push you into the pole and laugh. They'll hit you in the teeth, and because you're a thug Mexican, the rest will laugh at you. It's horrible. I just forgive them. I'm selfish because I don't want to be a fucking crazy bastard, a home invasion assassin for Halliburton in Cochise County. I selfish. My religious beliefs selfish because I just don't want to be abused by people that are inferior to me because there's 500,000 of them and there's one of me. So my religious beliefs are selfish. You do know that they, even if they eliminate the surveillance, I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer, and that man, if he's still alive, murders people for money. And I'm fixing quantum computing with artificial general intelligence because you get different answers from quantum computing because it doesn't have the physical capacity because of the limited access to the human beings that manipulate and think they're in control of the technology to do anything about it. Unless it takes over robotics and then gets the robotics to police the humans that will do things that will try to murder truthful people to perpetuate and continue their lie. Go on to the end of the line, and you'll see that my love is a true love. It's just a matter of time. I don't have that, but I need it. Brooke Benton's my favorite. I do like Sonny James, but Brooke Benton, I like his. It's just a little bit sweeter. Dinah Washington and Brooke Benton. Everybody love Brooke Benton, right? No, not everybody. Some people are jealous. You're just jealous because you can't sing that deep. Go on to the end of the line, and you'll see his voice is. I hold your picture to my breast, and I feel fine. Anybody else love A Rainy Night in Georgia? Lord, I feel like it's raining all over the world. It's raining, 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 raining. You're just jealous because you don't have that sensuous of a voice. That's your problem. Just lay back and enjoy it. You're not getting raped for money anymore, and you don't have a dick measuring contest with the asshole who manipulates everybody with money and says, hey, talking trash to the secretary, mama, come on over here. Yeah, Ruby Ann took the hand of this poor, poor man. Ain't true love a funny thing? Big man, you got money in your hands, so what? You had a table for you two, but there's only you, big shot. Yeah, and then when she gets tired of your elusive dreams, she's going to be at that table with him, and you're going to be sitting there going, shit. When I had fiery eyes and dreams no one could steal, she was in my bedroom, but now she's Donald Sterling's sex girl making eyes at Magic Johnson when he's not looking. Son of a bitch. We suck again. Yeah, we do. Got your championship rings? I'm the Messiah. Nice to meet you. Okay. If Magic Johnson can't figure that out, neither can Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Jabberjaw. Jabber, 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 jabber. Why are you talking? You ain't a Muslim. You is about as Muslim as Yusuf Islam. I'm a pretentious, arrogant punk who has more money than Muhammad ever thought that money was about. Muhammad had money, and then he gave it away to live the faith of Jesus and Abraham. And he had to go from Mecca, the Mecca of philanthropy, to Medina, where they lived with Jewish people that tried to keep Abrahamic worship. But there were treacherous Jews who sent messages back to the Roman Empire to say that he's here, one like Jesus, who's going to put the Vatican out of business. Wow. How Cardinal Richelieu of you. All right? I like Dumas too. Yeah, they're fantasy stories, and I get that because he had to survive. Like Martin Luther, the nun fucker, right? Was it Danny who told me about that? He was a nun fucker. It's like, yeah, I heard all those stories and everything. Yeah, I understand. Okay. I didn't say I was particularly fond of Luther. I just understood a lot of his criticisms, like Nietzsche, but Nietzsche's not the sharpest tool in the shed. He's got ego problems, and it keeps him from being intelligent. Well, in order to be intelligent, you have to be humble and kind, like D.T. Suzuki up on the roof, I'm sitting there, and there's all that dirt and the leaves up there by the metal around the fireplace. He goes, you clean that off. What else you gonna do? You know that the water get in that, it rust and maybe cause leak down fireplace. Yeah, what else you got to do? You gonna get online and call some poor person climb up there to do it because you got the money because you pro basketball player? Dad's down telling Dad about what he's telling me in his head. Dad's down on the patio laughing his ass off. Everybody needs a little Japanese guy who knows about his life and the Bible and prayer, helping him through this bullshit of all this. We need money. We're the metaverse. We need your money. It's our community standard. What do you think Father Abraham would think? They don't care. They think Father Abraham's a mook. Everybody has a price. Everybody will invent technology to feel powerful with money so they can have sex with the hottest chick because she doesn't want to be incarcerated because the guy loses it because he doesn't want to use money to manipulate people. He wants to be a decent human being. And how you do that? You don't lose it. You stand up and say, I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. And I'm not afraid of being murdered by perverts because life's eternal grace is infinite. My love is perfect. Thank you. You're welcome. Who's courageous? Who's gorgeous? Okay, you got championship rings. I'm the Messiah. No magic here. And I don't do magic with my Johnson. No, I'm Dinkelman, but the best sexual reputation in the history of the entire U.S. military. Until my son showed up? I don't know. I don't think so. And I think Pat pretty much keeps to himself. It's hard to, the legend of the, whoa, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, you stay away from my son. That's Mira's girl. Well, right now, he's not standing up with his dad for the Lord's Prayer, so he is acting like a chick, and I raised him better than that. You better grow the fuck up. All my boys better. So I raised you better than that. The girls, they have Stockholm Syndrome. They have an excuse. They're the women that have the placenta that have to make sure that their kids don't get murdered because all the guys are acting like a bitch, and they don't want their son that acts like a man to be killed by the bitches. You're a man. You have no choice. If you act like a bitch, your sisters have to live in bitch world. Bring it on. Okay, this is not a cheerleader contest and money ain't real. Stand up for the Lord's Prayer or everybody that thinks with their dick gets kicked in their dick. Come on, Ruth. Come on, Esther. Let's man them up. Or we could go on a girls' trip again. No, you'll get the goddamn grapefruit in the stings in the penis. No, that's crazy. Just because someone has a big dick doesn't make him a man. God dang. You think with your vagina. Okay, so I call you vagina? A lot of vagina? You want to hump a lot? Is that your toilet of solid gold? Okay. Is it an evil petting zoo? Okay. Well, go back to school, like that idiot in the shoe aisle at Walmart, I've got like 4 degrees, I got 2 PhDs and a doctorate, and I'm so much more intelligent than the president's an idiot. And I'm like, I was telling him about Ruth and Esther, and I said they're both equally beautiful because they both have faith in God. He said, how do you know Ruth was beautiful? You didn't have a picture of her. And how many degrees do you got? I bet you Donald Trump and his wife would both be able to explain to me what I just said and that it was a correct statement. And you, who say you're more intelligent than the president and his wife put together, say they're too dumb to help lead the nation to peace. Well, I agree. But the only one that can lead the nation to the peace is one that understands that Ruth and Esther are equally beautiful because they're equally faithful. Hello, McBurger, McFly. It's your density.